Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Michael for Spirit Comics. Welcome to my re-review of X-Men Blue number 3. Now, like I mentioned recently, some of my videos that I uploaded had no sound when I checked one of them out recently, so I'm having to re-record some of them. Actually 12 in all, and I've already got half of them done. So this is a interesting cover. I don't see Iceman anywhere unless that flurry of bluish white blob there on the upper right hand corner is him. But there's Cyclops, Angel, Jean Grey, and Hank. They're being attacked by a yellowish Sentinel, but they really don't get attacked by Sentinels in this issue, not in the traditional sense. You'll see what I mean when we get to that part in the story here. Now, the X-Men, they've settled into their new headquarters on the island nation of Madripoor, where their benefactor is none other than Magneto, their former arch-enemy. Though team leader Jean has the full trust of her teammates, she has found it hard to trust Magneto's motivations. A peek inside his head provided no clarity. Before Jean could worry too much, the X-Men received a distress call from Barcelona reporting an attack of mutant-killing Sentinels. So this is where we start, with the Jean Grey and Scott Summers. My telepathy, my telekinesis, they're not working. They're blocking me somehow. Jean Grey, Marvel Girl. Telepathy and telekinesis team leader. My powers are still going strong for all the good I'm doing. They're shaking off my best shots. Scott Summers, Cyclops, Optic Blast. You think we can get a do-over? I feel like we'd do better the second time around. Bobby Drake, Iceman. Ice creation and manipulation. And also the most annoying character in this book. The light. Blinded. Warren Worthington III. Angel. Wings of cosmic fire. They got me. Some sort of force field closing in. Henry McCoy, Beast. Enhanced agility and strength, genius, aspiring mystic. And I just realized I'm not wearing my reading glasses. And yes, I know, it doesn't say there that Iceman is annoying. I put that in there because I want to. I don't like Iceman. Not this Iceman. Desist, fellow mutants, the Sentinel says. This conflict serves no purpose. We mean you no harm. And he says this while one of them is holding Warren Worthington in a tight grasp. Why are you saying that? Why do you call us fellow mutants? Because we are like you, that one says. Barcelona, Spain. Sentinels, mutant hunting mechanoids, usually not this civil. Please stop! These robots, they were trying to help. They were helping me, this weird girl says. But she is attractive. Wait, what? What did you say? The Sentinels helped you, Jean asks? Because she doesn't like him at all. That is correct. We have been dispatched to aid emerging mutant 213345. Emerging mutant? Hey, hands off, Jean says as he picks her up. She says, my name is Balan and I did this. All of this destruction, it is my fault. I couldn't stop myself. I couldn't control it. Balan. She's an emerging mutant. Let go! Put me down! I am afraid I cannot do that. New directors are streaming in. We are to show the X-Men that we are striving for the same goals. To save mutant kind. Now, if that wasn't confusing enough, prepare the X-Men for transport. Our objective is not to harm but to subdue. My force fields will keep you safe and comfortable during travel. Nothing like flying the friendly skies with Air Sentinel. Do not struggle, fellow mutants. Do not despair. Our mission is to protect you. Okay, the artwork in this one, it's not too bad, but the pacing seems a little slow, because here we have a blackbird. How many are there in existence, really? I thought there was only one. Tracking Blackbird, the X-Men's supersonic jet, the same one that Bobby Drake made fun of in X-Men Blue #1. Tracking X-Men leaving maximum safe distance. Autopilot parameters updating. Pursuit. Nothing is quite like it's supposed to be, Gene says. So let's just back up a bit, okay? It was you who caused all the destruction we saw. It wasn't the Sentinels. I did it. I didn't mean to. I don't even know what happened. One minute I was minding my own business, then I felt strange, a headache, a sudden fever. The earth started shaking, cracking open, and I was causing it. These robots stopped me before I hurt someone. They switched my powers off somehow. Mine too, Gene says. They've got some sort of dampening field. It's new. It's a new weapon against us. Now, this is something that I've noticed over the past few years, not in comics, but in other forms of media. This is something that just does not sound right to me. They've got some sort of power dampening field. Now, they've is a conjunction of they and have. So even if you read it as they have got some sort of power dampening field, it still sounds okay. But if you take out the word God, it sounds even better. They have some sort of power dampening field. See, got and have are two very similar words. They're not the same, but they're very similar in so much as that they don't need to be used together. But if you use the conjunction without God, it sounds like this. They've some sort of power dampening field. And that gives the impression there's a word missing, even though it's still grammatically correct. So this is what I think would be an error, an editorial error. You know, got was not really needed. This is just something, I wanted to bring up because, I'm one that strives to use the best grammar that I possibly can. That's all I just wanted to mention about this panel right here. I don't understand, she says. You've watched the news before, right? Those are Sentinels. They're kind of famous for killing mutants. You are a mutant. And Sentinels like these were designed to murder you. The X-Men have been fighting Sentinels for years. I first saw them during a combat exercise. Now here's something which I don't really understand. It wasn't supposed to be the first time I encountered them. But you know, time travel. Long story. Now here's where I see a problem. Jean says, I can tell you this. Even in a simulation, even though the Sentinels we were facing weren't real. Right there. She says the Sentinels they were facing were not real. I could feel hate pouring off them. So how can an emotion be pouring off something that's not real? My guess is they were facing a simulation of some sort. And if it was a simulation, then how in the world could there have been an emotion coming off the simulation? Plus, you know, another editorial error here. If this actually happened in the context of a comic book, an X-Men comic book of some sort, it would have been helpful to me, the reader, for you, the editor, to notice that there was not a box which said, see such and such issue, if that really did happen. Okay, that's just another little something I wanted to mention. Hate because someone created them to kill me and anyone like me. See, they were created, but she says, I can tell you this, even in simulation, even though the Sentinels we were facing weren't real. So these were in a simulation. They weren't the ones that were actually created. And then she says, I could feel hate pouring off them. Hate because someone created them to kill me and anyone like me. No, that's not right. If this was a simulation, then these were not the ones which were created to kill you. Real or not, they terrified me. What's terrifying here is what I think are errors, editorial errors, on the same page. This is part of this is one of the things that made it so difficult for me to get into X-Men Blue, because of the editorial mistakes and the slow pacing. I mean, the artwork, it's not too bad. X-Men Gold does a lot better. But X-Men Blue, it suffers. I couldn't understand how anyone could build a Sentinel, and I don't understand why anyone would keep building them. You are safe here, fellow mutants. There is no need for hostility. Our master awaits. Guys, their dampening field, it's wearing off. You can hear me, right? Say the word, and we'll blast our way out of here, Cyclops says. Not yet. We might as well see what it is that made these hunter-killers suddenly join the We Love Mutants Club. Greetings, X-Men, and welcome. So they all see something that shocks them. So what did they see? I am Bastion. Oh yeah, another guy who hates mutants. I recognize some of your faces, although they are a bit younger than I remember. I must assume that thanks to some paradox we have never met. perhaps a fresh start is for the best. I have brought you before me in hopes that we might become friends. He is called Nimrod/Master Mold Fusion, mankind's last bastion of hope against the mutant plague. Who is this guy? Bobby's saying. Robot with a soul, maybe? Definitely robot with a soul patch. Which is blowing my mind a little bit. You never study, Jean says. See, this is why Bobby Drake right now is such a throwaway character. You could kill him off, and this team would do even better without him. We may not have met you, Bastion, but we know who you are, except Bobby. And we know that you have a history of trying to exterminate our people. And he sort of dances around the facts at first. He tells her that she's right, and he goes back telling her that how he tried to kill the mutant named Hope, that because she represented a rebirth of the X gene, and that she was more dangerous than he thought possible. And then somehow he got thrusted into the future and saw that the numbers of mutants were dying off even faster than he had thought. And Bobby just, goes and opens his mouth. All that's behind us now, the Terrigen. Bobby, hush. She says, let him give us information. We don't need to tell him anything. And he just keeps going on like a recording. And he says, while the mutant population is no longer threatened by the Terrigen Mist, their numbers are dangerously low. You are an endangered species. Well, they've always been an endangered species. And Angel says, shouldn't a Sentinel be, happy about that? And Hank says, his systems are corrupted. He said it himself. Essentially, he's gone mad. And he's starting to seem like a wonderful person. I could not allow mutants to vanish from the Earth. So I reprogrammed a group of Sentinels to follow new instructions to aid mutant kind. And they aren't buying it. The X-Men aren't. He says, that's why I brought you here. I need mutants to help me in this mission, which he's not elaborating on just yet. And Scott asks, tell me you're not buying into this gene. She says, I'm not. And then Balan goes forward and says, I'm not an X-Man, but I'll help if I can. Balan, wait. I know what you said. I know what Sentinels are supposed to be. But don't you believe people can change? And for a very short instant, I think Jean believes that Bastion may be telling the truth. Because she remembers some months back when she was talking to Magneto in that wrecking yard when he said Charles Xavier dreamed of a world where human and mutant could coexist in peace. Once I challenged that idea. Now, though, I believe that if mutants are to survive, they must do so alongside humans. And so, she's listening to this Bastion talk about saving the mutant species. And then Hank interjects with some good information that helps describe what's going on. He says, guys, what he's talking about is a utility function. We're talking about the guideline that defines a robot's every action. Let's say a robot's utility function is to clean a house. Once it has cleaned a house completely, that robot no longer serves a purpose. Some believe the robot would then make a new mess, going so far as knocking down walls so that it can continue doing its job. Bastion's utility function is to kill mutants. Together, X-Men, it is the only way. Jean says, "What are you?" Ask him. Ask him why he's saving mutants, Hank says. And so, Jean gets down to it. She says, "I think I get it. I think I understand that you've changed. But what's your end goal? Why are you helping mutants?" And he said, and explaining, Bastion practically insults them. "I apologize. I thought it was obvious. I want to save mutant kind, to see them flourish, so that I can destroy them." "What did you?" And then she jerks her arm away from Bastion. "I guess that settles it then," Jean says with an angry look on her face. "Now it's time to rumble," so to speak. "Cyclops, keep Bastion busy. Beast, the Green Sentinel can shut our powers down. See if you can do a little monkey wrenching and return the favor." I didn't see a Green Sentinel. "Angel and Iceman, you're on Chaos and Mayhem duty." "I'm Chaos. He's Mayhem." Okay, I don't know why that was said out loud, but whatever. Then we see a bigger picture of what's going on. Jane is protecting herself, I think, inside a force field, while Cyclops is blasting one of the Sentinels, who's also in a force field. So it doesn't quite make sense to me. "This is unnecessary. Based on your age and activities, according to my calculations, you will be long deceased before my action parameters are updated," Bastion says. "We're not trying to protect ourselves. We're fighting to protect all mutants, including those who won't be born for decades," Cyclops says as he blasts away to "Cease and desist. We do not wish to harm you," the Sentinel says. "Yeah, not yet you don't. This battle is pointless. You struggle against your own survival. I will not engage in senseless conflict. Trans relocation initiated. Farewell, fellow mutants, for now. Perhaps our next meeting will be more fruitful." They ran. They just teleported away. A fight with us at this stage of the game doesn't support the utility function, Hank says. And so they're a little bit confused. Jane checks on Balan, asking if she's okay. She says, I thought maybe I could do some good and that they could help me. Now here, I don't know why, Jean's face looks totally out of proportion. Her lips look bigger than her nose, and her eyes look even more spaced far apart than usual. Don't worry, we know a great school. We'll drop you off on our way home. A school? Maybe not the best, but close. Well, first she says it's a great school, and then she says maybe it's not the best. I hate to be the wet blanket, but we're kinda stranded here. Ice Jerk says. Now this is where they start acting like children. They can't agree on how to get out of there. I could go get help. I could send out a psychic distress call. I could possibly open a mystic portal through hell. You could stay here if you like. Actually, Jean says, our ride's here. And it's the Blackbird. Did you program it to do that? It wasn't me. We really need to ask Magneto where he got this plane. Penny for your thoughts, Cyclops says. Now here's something that, this not only shows how they are going to eventually, I believe, be romantically involved, but shows the closeness between Cyclops and Jean. Are you doing okay? Yes, Scott. It's just Bastion. He's our enemy, but he's trying to save mutants, and we attacked him. He didn't even fight back. Just makes me wonder if our relationship with Magneto is any different. I don't know what to tell you, Jean. You know how I feel. Magneto is bad news. I don't trust him. But I trust you. Maybe you shouldn't, she says. I mean, since we got to this time, I've used my powers with abandon. And that means she's used them recklessly. She's used them whenever she wanted. And she says, I've forced my will on others. I've read my friends' thoughts without permission. And that's why Iceman's gay. Because if I remember correctly, it's in All New X-Men number 40, where she basically does, she screws with his brain and makes him believe that he's gay when he's not. And we have, I think, Brian Michael Bendis to thank for that. And then somehow the elder Iceman became gay too. I've kind of been a you totally have, he says. But that doesn't mean you're a supervillain. You made some mistakes, sometimes some scary mistakes, but you're trying to fix it. And I'm here to help you. You think I'm scary? I just threw that in there for dramatic effect. I could read your mind and find out, Careful, Dark Phoenix. I'm kidding. And Scott, thanks. Now, I don't know why that was put in there. Careful, Dark Phoenix. I don't think they know what the Dark Phoenix is yet. Heck, she's just finding out, in, I think, a couple months, what the Phoenix Force is. But she knows about it. So, I did not like this episode. This issue. I thought it was just bland. There was a lot of, well, there wasn't a lot, but there was too many editorial mistakes for my taste. You know what I mean? And the coloring was good. Was good, but the drawing, especially there with Jean's face, with her eyes, farther apart than they should be, just didn't appeal to me. I don't know. What did you guys think about this issue? Did you like it, or did you hate it, or did you just want to throw it out the window? Let me know in the comments. I'm Michael for Spirit Comics. Please do subscribe to my channel and smash that notification bell like She-Hulk. Also, please like this video and share it with someone who might enjoy it. Till next time, true readers.